So I wanted to talk about this. This is I've had this for a few days, and it's a headline. This is from The Blaze. An article came out a few days ago. And the headline is, sure, the left has Taylor Swift, but we have Catturd. Now, let me just say right off the bat, I've got nothing against The Blaze. I love The Blaze. I used to work there. They're great. I like everyone there. They do fantastic work. And as for Catturd, you know, he's a conservative Twitter account, if you didn't know, and many people don't, which is part of the problem here. But I got nothing against him. It's a fine account. I don't follow the account, but it gets retweeted in my feed all the time, and it's fine. I got no issues there at all. With all that said, I disagree stridently with this article, and in fact, I think it captures so much of what is wrong with modern conservatism these days. So let me just read a little bit of this. It's a bit of this article that is not meant to be self-deprecating in any way. This is not satire. At first, I thought it was. When I read the headline, "Oh, we don't need Taylor Swift, we have Catturd," I honestly thought at first I just glanced at it. I thought it was a pretty funny Babylon Bee headline. It's not. It's 100% serious. So the article begins talking for a while about Taylor Swift and the NFL and the whole Swift-Kelsey NFL storyline that people have been so fascinated by, and it's all culminating in the Super Bowl this weekend. And then the writer, Albin Sadar, gets to this. He says, yes, the NFL has gone woke, and the upcoming Super Bowl is appealing to many in that peculiar camp. I, for one, will be tuning out, but I'm sure things will work out for the best. It will at least be an exciting, close enough game, and the result will wrap up a wonderful season-long narrative. So, where are the stories from those on the right? Why are we always playing defense? Where is our offense? Okay, so far so good. Those are good questions. Where are our stories? People can complain about Taylor Swift and the NFL all they want, but the simple fact of the matter is that these are stories and these are people that captivate the public. The public loves the NFL. A lot of people in the public love Taylor Swift. I don't like Taylor. It doesn't matter. People are interested in this. So we can complain about that on and on and on, but what do we have? Like, we could say to the public, oh, don't pay attention to that. That's stupid. Don't pay. But what else are we giving them to pay attention to instead? What are we saying? Oh, no, that's dumb. Here's something great. Right? You don't need that for entertainment. You don't need to pay. We got this. This is so much better. So where is that? And that's the question that the writer's asking. It's a good question. The problem is that he settles on Catturd, the Twitter account. We have a Twitter account named after feline fecal matter that trolls the left. And it's so much better than Taylor Swift. So he continues. Recently, I watched Tucker Carlson interview the internet sensation on X who goes by the moniker Catturd. Catturd, of course, is not his real name, like William or Mike or Carl Catturd. Nonetheless, he has an interesting story about how he went from being a drug-using, tie-dye-wearing, honest-to-goodness hippie to championing the common-sense viewpoint on the right. What happened? While working construction, Catturd and his builder buddies would listen to Rush Limbaugh on the radio. Because he overwhelmingly agreed with Rush and his arguments against the left, Catturd soon came to realize that he himself was a conservative. Catturd decided to start tweeting his own opinions, and before long found himself internet famous. His tweets even got under the skin of the high and mighty, such as former U.S. Representative Adam Kinzinger. Now, why would a relatively small player in the culture wars be used here as an example of pushback against the Taylor Swifts of the world? Yes, why? Well, he says, I think it comes down to what's going on behind the scenes. The left controls all the big messaging outlets known as the mainstream media, but the right seems to have a whole army of rabble-rousers behind the scenes in social media. In political days of yore, Nixon in the 1970s, the term silent majority referred to the folks who were a strong, powerful, motivating force in the culture, but did not have a media megaphone. Something very similar is stirring today. Bold, outspoken champions on the right may have been shoved to the sidelines, but add to their continued influence rising stars like Charlie Kirk and Glenn Beck and Eric Metaxas. And let's just say that America's personal 2024 Super Bowl, this year's presidential election, is far from played out. Be encouraged. Our movement is grassroots, and we can build on the conservative clawing and scratching of a guy named Catturd. Anything is possible. Okay. So just a few problems here. First, to state the obvious, comparing Catturd's influence on the culture to Taylor Swift is like comparing the light emitted by a desk lamp to the sun. I mean, these are two things that exist on such vastly different planes, okay? These are such vastly different planes of existence that the comparison is incoherent. I mean, it's like saying It's like going into a cave with a dying flashlight and saying, we don't need the sun, we got this thing. Who needs the sun when you got this? And this is obviously the case no matter how you feel about Taylor Swift. This is the other thing we have to be able to do as conservatives. We have to be able to analyze these things even when they involve people we don't like. You don't have to like her. I don't care if you like her or not. It's just an objective question about cultural power and influence. And as far as that goes, Taylor Swift is selling out stadiums worldwide, and Catturd would, I would be surprised if he could fill a conference room, at the Cincinnati Marriott, which is not a knock against him. It's not. His right-wing Twitter fame is a very narrow lane to be in. If your house is feeling chilly right now, you may need to consider window replacements. I get it. For most homeowners, window replacement isn't something they've ever done before, and it may be a bit of a daunting task. Luckily, there's a company that will do the work for you. Renewal by Andersen is your one-stop shop for window design, manufacture, and installation. Windows play a crucial role in regulating indoor temperatures. If you notice a spike in your heating or your cooling bill, it may be due to inefficient windows, so don't put it off any longer. Renewal by Andersen offers limited, fully transferable, and best-in-the-nation warranty coverage. Right now, Renewal by Andersen is offering a free in-home consultation on quality, energy-efficient, affordable windows or patio doors with special financing options. Text Walsh to 200-300 for a free consultation to buy one window or door and get 40% off. Plus, you'll get $200 off your entire purchase as well. These savings won't last long, so be sure to check it out by texting Walsh to 200-300. That's Walsh to 200-300. Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. Minimum purchase required. Interest accrues from date of purchase but is waived if paid within promotional period. Go to windowappointmentnow.com for full offer details. What this all sort of papers over is that we have a real problem on the right. Our problem is that we don't have a Taylor Swift. We don't have anyone close to her. Like, our Taylor Swift is not Catturd, okay? It's not anybody. All of the cultural figures who are closest to Taylor Swift in terms of relevance and impact on the culture are all also on the left, and most of them are even further to the left than she is. And these are the people who are making culture. So on the right, for the most part, historically, we've been the cultural commentators. So the left makes the culture, and then we comment on it. We are commenting on the things that they are making and doing. But commenting on culture will never move people and never influence people, will never inspire and drive people the way that the culture itself will, obviously. Now, this is something that we want to, as you know, change at the Daily Wire, and we are working on that. It's hard. It's extremely hard. It's a very hard thing to do. You got everything stacked against you. If you want to go, when you've had this dynamic for so many decades of the left makes culture, we comment on it, to then say, you know what, we want to get in the culture-making business, it's a very hard thing to do. And it's a long haul, and it's difficult. And we are very, very far away from Taylor Swift at this point. That's just the reality of the situation. You have to be honest about it. Deluding ourselves about it, telling ourselves that we don't need to make culture, and we don't need to tell interesting stories, and we don't need to be truly influential because we have conservative Twitter accounts is just an insane level of self-delusion. And these stories, he says, well, this is a fascinating story. It's a story about how a construction worker decided to start a Twitter account and complain about Biden. It's like, that's not a fascinating story. I'm sorry, it's just not. That's not a story that's going to grab people by their hearts and speak to them at a deep, visceral level, and they're going to find fascinating. It's just not. And 95% of the time, when those stories are being told, it's being told by the left. That, again, it's just the reality. There's nothing wrong with commentary. It's what I do for a living. It's what I'm doing at this very moment. I'm making commentary about commentary. I understand the inception levels of that we're dealing with here. But I just want to start with honesty. And we can't lie to ourselves and tell ourselves that cultural commentary is a sufficient replacement for cultural creation. And honestly, even the commentary, not all cultural commentary is made equal. Commentary can be important. I certainly hope so. I wouldn't do it for a living if it wasn't. But even a lot of the commentary on the right barely rises to the level of actual commentary, because to do commentary is to offer insight, analysis, it's to have a unique perspective, saying interesting things about what's happening. That's commentary. And again, it has a place, it has value. But a lot of what we call commentary on the right is really just sort of this banal, bland regurgitation. It's this stuff that's carefully calibrated to repeat back to the audience what it already thinks. And there's really no attempt to say anything interesting at all or to take any chances at all. Another problem the conservatives have, some of that is just ingrained. We're conservative. That's why we call ourselves conservative. So taking risks, to actually make interesting art, if you want to get into the culture making business, you got to take risks. It requires a willingness to take risks. Conservatives historically are not the best at that. And then you find that even with the commentary. So much of the conservative commentary, it's as safe as could be. It's like, this is the lane you're supposed to be in. These are the topics you're supposed to talk about. These are the things you're supposed to say. And for a large number, though not all, of the conservative commentators, they just stay right in that lane, never venturing outside of it, because that's a risk. So those are all things we need to be honest about, and we need to change. So that maybe one day down the line, we can say, we don't need Taylor Swift. We have fill in the blank. But we're not there yet. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.